we go. Alright, here we go. Welcome to BC and DC. Today is December 2nd, 2019. As always, this episode is brought to you by Oregon's Burn Online Radio, which is my friend Brad. I know I'm a broken record. Like I always say, though, without Brad, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you, my friend. And thank you for anyone that is listening and has listened so far, or anyone that may listen in the future. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm starting out rough like I have been in the past few ones, and I guess it is what it is, right? I've been having a little bit of a hard time with this whole dad stuff, so, I apologize to a few people like, Andy and Val and stuff. I'm going to talk to them both tomorrow. And, Andy, I have an offer for you. I'm gonna obviously talk to you on the phone tomorrow. I'll give you a call. But, I was thinking if you want to stay up late one of these nights, maybe we should just, do that phone interview. And, it's not necessarily an interview. I would say it's more of a conversation, because I have a feeling you're going to want to interview me more than I interview you. But we'll obviously cover a lot of that stuff like we've talked about with your brain injury and where you're at with it and what you've experienced so far and experimented with and so on. And so for all of you that are wondering how I've been over the last few weeks, somewhat of the same. Really haven't cleared too much of it up, you know what I mean, as far as like how I feel about it all. Because like I said before in the last one, I don't know if I covered it all, but it's just a lot of emotions, and I'm thinking about a lot of other people's emotions as well. Like I was telling the wife tonight, like the catalyst was my grandfather. And now I can say that's my grandfather, which is, man, it's pretty weird. Anyway, I just started thinking about his emotions as well. Not just when he decided to do the test and all that's involved with that, but just, I'm sure now he knows. I'm sure that his daughter, my aunt, has told him the results. I'm assuming she would have. And what the heck? I'm sorry, I have this my playlist going, and that went to a commercial. Anyway, so I've been thinking about how he must be feeling, or how he's felt during this entire thing. Thinking about his son and doing the stuff, or not doing the stuff, but having a couple kids out of wedlock, because apparently I'll let you guys in on, I have another half brother out there. So I have two half brothers, the one that I grew up with and the one that I just found out exists not too long ago. So I wasn't saying anything about that because before it was confirmed that it was my dad, I didn't need to, say too much about someone else that, I may or may not have been related to. So that's why I kind of didn't say anything about it. So yeah, at some point I'll have a brother that I might not have to meet, but come across that bridge at some point. So anyway, I skipped what I was saying about my grandfather was, anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of people's emotions are involved with this, and it's not just me, and I hate the fact that I'm the reason why all these emotions are out there. So it's, I don't know, the wife said it's not my fault, that it's my mom and my dad that made this happen, but I'm like, but I'm what happened, and by me wanting to know these answers and figuring shit out, I'm involving a lot of people, and getting their emotions involved and involving their lives and somewhat changing their lives. And that has a heavy burden that comes with it for me anyway. It feels, I guess somewhat, how should I feel that I'm so important that I should affect these people so much, or change their narratives, change their stories as far as what their family was. That, and I don't know really anything about my dad, so as far as like if he's a good person, bad person, don't really know. My wife seems to think that he's a good person, and she's a pretty good judge of character, so it's quite a good possibility that he is a good guy, that has made some mistakes or just didn't know shit like that went down. I don't, that's I said, that the story is really up in the air to a certain extent, and I guess that's the other part of it too. It's obviously I'm doing a podcast, so it's obviously focused on me for the most part, and like I said, I've never really searched out a spotlight or wanted to be a center of attention, so it's odd, but I don't know. It's like I feel confused about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and the motives, what they're for, and like I said, I thought it'd be for the kids and everything else, and I guess that's one thing that helps me, is thinking that no matter how I feel, no one else is going to have to feel this way down the road, I guess, and or at least they will know what their family tree is, and I guess that's a part of it for me. It's been, I wouldn't say extremely hard, but it's been difficult to think about meeting my family. You know what I mean? Because I think I covered in the last one about my imagination and being able to just imagine what my dad could have been, and now it's answered. I know what he is, or who he is. I don't really know, but I'm saying I can find out. And where before it was just like a wonderment, and I could make up any story I wanted, and it's not just me worrying about them accepting me and shit like that, which, of course I want to be accepted, but it's not gonna make or break me necessarily. But I guess it's just, it's a huge identity thing, and then it's, well, I guess this is my problem, is I'm having a hard time finding words for how I'm feeling, and then, I have been crying a lot about it, and not a lot, I would say, but when I start talking to Mindy, which is the only person I've been able to talk to about it, I end up crying each time, but it's because I take myself deeper each time with her, and I'm hoping to do that same thing with the podcast, and it's just been hard to open up to anyone, really. Even Mindy, it's been tough for me, and she knows, and so she just, has been letting me process it on my own and giving me the space, and then, when I feel like talking, she's there to listen, and Andy's been offering, and I appreciate that, and it's just, well, you don't know. What I'm trying to say is, when I don't really know what to say or what to feel about it, I guess I don't want to talk about it, because it's still processing in my head, because it's different than, like I said, different than like what I thought it was going to be. I don't know. So, anyway, when I figure more of that out, I'll let you guys in on it, and we'll go from there. but yeah, I'm still in the processing stage, and I guess I don't know what to say other than that. And it seems kind of like a bullshit thing, but it really is. I just don't know how to think about it. So I'm just letting it unfold, I guess. So for anyone that's worried about me, as far as like that kind of stuff, as far as like suicide or how I'm feeling depressed or whatever, I'm actually not. I'm not depressed. I'm not suicidal right now. And like I said, I have been in the past over the years. But as far as being depressed, though, no, I'm okay. I mean, of course, I have the normal depression that always follows me around. But as far as like this right now, no, not depressed. Just and I hate to use the word over and over again, like overwhelming, but a little bit overwhelming. It's just I don't know. Anyway, so moving on. I just figured I owed you guys at least a little update of how I've been feeling. So let's see. I didn't. Let's see. What didn't I talk about? What was I gonna say? I guess I'll skip that. I was just gonna tell you some personal stuff where we spent the holidays and all that, and it doesn't really matter. But we went to the Oregon coast. I'll just talk about what the fuck. I don't know. Went to the Oregon coast for the first time during the holidays. Not for the first time ever, but we've been there, I would say, about 50 times or so. I don't know, or I have throughout my life. But it was like an idea I've had for a while to think, like, hey, it'd be really cool to have a holiday over there, like Christmas or Thanksgiving. Really, I wanted Christmas, but I thought Thanksgiving people couldn't really, throw too much of a fit about it. And I kind of mentioned it to Mindy years ago, and she's like, hemmed and hawed, and I kind of got Avery in on it, my daughter, and I told her about the idea, and so we kind of ganged up on the family, and it was really her that convinced everybody, because how do you say no to a cute little 8-year-old? So yes, I did kind of maybe push that situation. Yeah, say I did. So anyhow, it was more, it's kind of like what I usually feel is, because my wife always worries about, okay, what about her mom and her sister and any other extended family or whoever else that maybe wanted to spend Thanksgiving with us, and I'm always like the same thing is the same thing. I had a response as far as our wedding, and I said, I just want to pick one thing about our wedding, just the location. Everything else, you can figure out what you want to do. And she's like, well, what is it? And I said, well, I want to get married at the coast. I said, other than that, I don't care. She's like, well, what about people that don't want to travel? I'm like, no offense, but fuck them. It's not about them. And if we're important enough for them to travel to the coast for, then cool. But if not, hey, whatever, man. It's my day too, or our day, whatever. And so it shouldn't be about what everyone else is thinking or feeling how our wedding should be. And so I kind of felt the same way about this holiday, as far as like, I think we should just do it and create a cool memory. And like, I'm sure other people have done it. Just go to the beach for a holiday. And how many people have spent Thanksgiving at the coast? I don't know. And so I just wanted to do it. And so yeah, it was a cool experience. Her mom did come, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, her sister, and they brought their dogs, of course. And we rented a decent-sized house, and it was really nice. It was not on the beach, but you could see the beach from there, and just block away from the ocean. And yeah, it's nice, and it was really cool. One of the walks we took, I think Mindy saw it first, but she just didn't say anything, and I saw this like spouting water because there were some really high waves, and I was like, that's not a wave blast, that's something else. And I was like, holy shit, there's a whale. And I kept watching, and sure enough, you could see the body come up, and I started, saying, hey, there's a whale over there. And so we're all watching for it, and we all end up seeing it. And for Mindy and I, it was for us, it was like the first time we ever seen a whale at the ocean. And so I was sitting there thinking, hey, think about that, I've been there 50 some times and never seen a whale until this time. And so it's like, pretty cool, right? Never gonna forget that. So, and just the fact that, like, you know, if we don't do it a million times, obviously this will be a memory that all of us get to hold forever. So, and it's not that I want to force memories, but at the same time, you kind of have to create them. You know, some do just happen on their own, but you know, it's kind of like most things in life. If you think things are just gonna, you know, plop on your lap, they're fucking not. You know, most things you have to work for in life, and that's just simple as that. And if you want good things to happen, you kind of have to make them happen. But if you sit around and do nothing, then most likely bad shit's gonna happen. So that's the thing, is like how much, you know, how much drive do you have? How much effort do you want to put into your life? And the results show. You know, every one of us, it's just there. You know, I mean, some of us do have a shittier hand, and some people work way too hard for way too little money, and that's extremely unfortunate. That is a lot of us. Anyway, something I was kind of thinking about talking about. I'm just letting the music play through. It's on this like free playlist besides Michaela's music. There's like, you know, no copyright, free music, and yeah, figure what the hell, let it play, right? I can't get in trouble now. Anywho, the story I want to tell tonight, it's somewhat embarrassing, but at the same time it's kind of cool. Well, you'll see. So, I think I told you guys, I know I did actually, that I was a thief. Now there's spiders crawling on my desk. Pretty cool. I'm sure guests will want to come down here now, like, oh yeah, he has spiders on his desk. Great. But I killed it, so hey, you know, maybe Buddha's pissed at me, but you guys will feel more comfortable if you come down here. So the story is, like I said, I told you guys in the past that I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've repeatedly made one of them over and over again, and that was stealing. Yeah, I was a thief for a long time. So anyway, I think I told you guys too that helped me end up being in jail on my 21st birthday while I was still in the National Guard. So I was doing well. Anyway, I never fully told you guys all of it. So it was interesting because it wasn't long after I got back home from the military. So the odd thing about going to jail was it was oddly similar to the barracks, especially when you're private and basic training and stuff like that. Is like it's all on lockdown and you can't go anywhere, can't do anything without permission, kind of shit. And obviously jail is very, very much like that, or is that. Anyway, a few things happened while I was in there. I made some friends, and I actually ended up being in there with one of the dudes that I got in trouble with also. It's kind of an odd thing where we were supposed to be separated, but somehow we ended up in there. But also, since I wasn't making any trouble and when I first got in there, they put me on kitchen duty, kitchen patrol, KP, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what they call it in jail, but so I was doing that. So I can't remember what exactly I was doing in the kitchen. It was like just helping put the dinners together, what they call dinners or what they call meals, and I'd help go give them out to the different people in the cells and whatnot. And so part of the reason why I was doing that is they said, hey, if you do this, you get some of your time cut off. And so I was only supposed to be in there for 30 days, but 30 days is a long time if you've never been locked up. And so I was like, yeah, I'll take whatever. And so that was going to cut my time, like, I think in half if I worked the certain amount of time I was left in there. So I agreed to it, and so I started doing it, and I became friends with the one dude that was in there, and we were just hanging out, talking, whatever. And a lot of people I met in there haven't had DUIs, which is interesting. But then, since I got put on this work release type deal, you get housed differently. So instead of general population, they move you to this part where all the people were supposedly better inmates. And so I was in that cell, in that unit. And they were with the work release crew plus the kitchen patrol, which was my guy, me and another guy, and some of the laundry dudes. And anyway, these other guys that were on work release were guys that you would see out, cleaning trash up on the side of the highways, and some actually get to go out and do their actual jobs, and then they have to report back to jail and stuff like that. So anyway, I was in there with those guys. And this one dude that was on work release, he was supposed to be the fucking king shit of the fucking cell. And he was just a loudmouth prick, and he annoyed everyone. But a lot of people were cool with him because they just didn't want to deal with him, I guess. And I always kind of, just my smart-ass mouth would say something to him every once in a while. And at one point, he was talking shit, and it was something where other people weren't saying anything to him or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I made fun of the fact that he was wearing girls' pants. And because I don't know if you guys remember, back in the day, he was wearing a pair of Guess jeans. And Guess jeans, the red triangle meant that they were female ones. And if they had a green triangle, they were the males. And I knew that because I had girlfriends that had Guess jeans, and I shamefully, admittedly had a pair of men's Guess jeans, so I knew what the fuck, when you bought men's, know that they were different. And so I made fun of that. I was like, said something like, oh yeah, fucking you're such a badass wearing women's jeans. And, for some reason he got upset over that. I don't know why, it's kind of weird. So anyhow, I questioned his manhood, so he got a little upset. Came over and confronted me, got in my face, and tried to punk me, and so I punked him back. And, there's cameras. So the guards came in there and, whoa, all this kind of stuff. And since he had seniority and they thought that I caused the trouble and all that, like, I got kicked out, got kicked back to general population. And I remember that one officer brought me out in the hallway and was really flicking me shit. And he was like, fucking little guy like you, what the hell you think you're doing, and this and that, and you should have blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, man, the guy's a dick, Someone should stand up to him. And they were like, oh, you think you could fucking take him on, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I may or may not, but I'm just not going to be walked on, Why would you? It's kind of like one of those things, like, I'm not afraid to take a beating. But at the same time, why the fuck should I let someone just belittle me or fucking, take away any of my manhood or whatever, or make me feel like shit and me not saying anything about it? Like, fuck that. So it can't be any worse than I went through. It's how I always felt, like, bring it, It's like, I've been punched in the face plenty of times. Do it again. It's not going to kill me. So it's just one. So anyway, I got kicked back to general pop and general population, and spent the rest of my few days in there. So I was only in there for another week. So I spent, I think, 21 days total in there. And I remember I survived off commissary. So when you get thrown in jail, whatever money you have in your wallet, they put it on your books, as they say. And so you can buy different things like candy or jerky and chips and shit like that. So I survived off jerky and chips because that fucking food in there. Ooh. Anyhow, so yeah, I just had a bunch of that shit. So anyway, one night, excuse me, just laying in there, and you know, one of the officers who was cool with me, he's like, "Hey man," I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, "So you like being in here?" I just laughed. I was like, "Yeah, man, I love it. It's fucking awesome." You know, I was thinking of setting up a permanent residence, you know. And he's like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "'Cause I was thinking, you want to just leave?" I was like, "Well, yeah, fucking of course I do." He's like, "Well, pack up your shit. Let's go. Let's get out of here." And I'm like, "Dude, stop fucking with me." He's like, "No, for real, like, you can go. Like, you know, you served your time and you're good." He's like, "It's past midnight, so if you want to wait till morning, you can." He's like, "I don't give a fuck." I'm like, "No, man, I'm good. Yeah, let me out. I'm good. Let's go. Let's do this thing." So I threw a bunch of my commissary shit to a bunch of the dudes I knew in there. "Here, have my shit." And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm out, man. Bye. Kick rocks. See ya. Have fun." And, you know, don't drop the soap. So, yeah, I fucking leave in the middle of the night. And I remember they just booted me out the back door. And I was standing out there in the middle of downtown Bend because at that time, I served at the old jail, so that was below the courthouse there in downtown Bend, and so I'm out there in the middle of the night, and it's just like the air was different, you know, and it smelled different, and I was only in there for 3 weeks, and the effect that it had on me, as far as it's to be stupidly dramatic. It was like being born again. It's like this, like, your smells and tastes are like, oh wow, this is different. And I remember even drinking the first soda and it tasted like shit. I was like, because all I drank was water in there. I was like, oh, this stuff's gross. And obviously I'm still addicted to it, but anyway, that's another story. So anyway, I remember just walking around and just enjoying my freedom. And that's odd to say, right? Because I don't think many of us understand that until that happens to you. But of course I did it to myself, right? But the idea that we don't enjoy our freedom as Americans, and freedom is an amazing fucking thing, and we really take it for granted. So as I was going throughout that day, I mean, I eventually got my car back from my buddy that was looking after it for me, and that's a whole other story too. Well, kind of not. One of the dudes I got in trouble with was supposed to take my car and give it to my other friend, Steve. And he was going to just hold it for me because I knew he wouldn't fuck my car up, and he was responsible in a sense. Like, I liked the dude. He was only like a year older, but he just seemed more responsible. Like, he didn't do half the dumb stuff we would do. Anyway, I knew that he was cool, and I couldn't, you know, I wouldn't worry that him, like, fucking up my stereo system or whatever. So anyway, my friend that was supposed to give it to him didn't, and drove it around for a while until only a few days before I got out, and I was pretty pissed because that little fucktard, you know, anyway, pissed me off. Which I don't really care now. It's like, who gives a shit? I was 20 some odd years ago, almost 30 years ago. Has it been that long? No, it's been 26 years. Yeah, long time. 25, whatever. Yeah, long time. But irregardless, so anyway, at one point I was driving home finally, and I was coming from Deschutes Junction, or Highway 97 as some people would know, and you're coming down Tumalo Road. And as you're coming down Tumalo Road, so for those of you, anyone that's listening outside of Oregon or doesn't know Bend or Tumalo, it's a view of the Cascades. So the Cascade Mountain Range is right in front of you as you're driving down Tumalo Road, going down towards Tumalo. And it's an amazing view. And I never noticed how amazing it was until that moment. Sounds cheesy, right? But it's true. I didn't know what I was missing until it was taken away. And it was powerful. And I looked at them again tonight, and I look at them every time I come down that road. I take in the mountains, and I think about that day that I got out, because it's significant, because the simple fact is, like, I haven't stolen a single thing since. I've prided myself on becoming a different person, and then also trying to realize why I was doing what I was doing. And it was interesting because the more I think about it, some of those things had to happen in a sense to me, or it didn't have to happen, but since they did, they had a big effect on me, and I wasn't too stupid that I didn't, or I did understand that it was a fork in the road and I had a choice to make. And even though I continued to just fuck myself over down the road, I started realizing something, and I realized it today. And this is my tiny little bombshell, was I realized for myself, so maybe this will help other people that are going through depression in life. For me, it was interesting because I realized that at every point when my life started becoming better, I would sabotage it. And that was one of those points. Like, my life was going in a good direction. I was just getting out of the military, and I was still in, rather, but I was getting out of the regular army, going into the National Guard, and had a future. And so I fucked with it. And then the next time that I would say that something like that happened was when I realized I was depressed or had depression, and that was when my business was doing well, my roofing business, and this was early 2000s, and I was racing and doing all that stuff and spending a bunch of money and making a decent amount a month, and then I got depressed, and I didn't know why, and I didn't even know what depression really was at that point. And now I'm realizing, so when things are starting to go well, I freak out because it's so abnormal to me. It's one of those things of, like, when things are chaotic, I know how to deal with that, and I kind of oddly thrive in it. And the funny thing is like, yeah, I badly wanted to get away from it, and I did, and I'm happy I did. But it's just, I don't know, it's so ingrained. It's odd that I think why I thought about this and why I'm thinking about this is also because of my dad's stuff and my family. Not just my dad, my aunt, my grandfather, and my brother, cousins, and all this stuff that I might eventually at some point meet and all that kind of stuff. I'm not ready to meet right now, and I think I'm just, I don't know. But so I think it scares me again, because there's a possibility of me getting more love, and that's always freaked me out too, when people care about me. I always have had a hard time with that. Like, it's not always, but since my teenage years, it's been easy for me to have a fight. Like, I liked it. It gave me a target, someone to prove wrong, someone to be an adversary against, and I feel like those things are being taken away from me, but for good, right? But it's a thing of it's hard because it's something that I base my personality on, and something that was a huge part of me, and I'm not wholeheartedly, but I'm massively changing who I am, and it's consciously being done, and I struggle with it, you know, because I fight against my natural instincts of not trusting people. And I'm trusting people now, and I'm being loved by a lot of people. And it may not seem like a lot for others, but to me, it's a lot. And so I have this weird responsibility that comes with it, with how I feel, and it becomes overwhelming to a certain extent of feeling responsible for I guess the way I look at it is if I'm going to be your friend, if I'm going to love you or care about you, whatever it is, I feel like there's this huge responsibility that goes with that, and like I owe you something. And you may say, oh, you don't owe me shit and all that kind of stuff, but I do, because that's what friendship is about, and that's what love is about, is giving. It's not about receiving. Love is very much giving. It's because it's the love language is, like I've talked about before, it's showing it. It's your actions. Your words are nice when they back up your actions, but if they're just words, they're shit. They're complete and utter shit. But like I said, if your words are backed up, or more or less your actions are backed up by your words, then it's a beautiful thing. And a lot of times your actions can just do that, and you don't have to say shit. You just do things that show love. And that's always been, not always been, but it's been something that I've been trying to communicate for a very long time. And so now anyway, when I'm getting it back, it's uncomfortable. I like to be the one doing that, and I like to be the one helping others and be the one to be there for others. And a lot of people are wanting to do that for me now, and I know I should accept it, and I may at some point, but I'm extremely stubborn, and I love to do everything on my own, and it's something about being self-made and this weird honor I did with myself, and I don't want to relinquish that power, and I'm scared to, I guess I'm scared to let other people, I guess, inside that, you know, a little shell I'd created, you know. Like I said before, it's because I created that outer shell because I knew the inside of me was soft as shit. And so I had to create an exterior that you couldn't get into. And now that I don't have that hard exterior anymore, I feel like I'm so vulnerable all the time because I'm just me anymore. I don't try to, you know, be anyone different for any reason or fake. You know, I don't want to be like anyone else. And then there's also something I was talking to Mindy about. I was sitting there thinking about all my friends, and they're all different, and that makes me so happy. And I didn't do it by design; it just happened that way. That fuck, Jack's crying again. That sucks. I'm definitely not making noise this time. He cries at night a lot. Not a lot, but he does wake up often. It's kind of sad. Poor little guy. Anyway, that sidetracked me big time. What was I talking about? What was it? Oh yeah, I don't remember. So anyway, I guess I was just talking about being loved, I think. Anyway, so the jail experience, I just wanted to say that you know, it shouldn't have taken that much for me to realize what I was throwing away, but it did. And so, not that all of you should just take a look at the mountains every day, or really take a deep breath and breathe in some nice fresh air by a river or some shit like that. But it's just those things do help get you in touch with nature. They're pretty awesome and kind of powerful. But it's just, I guess I realized a lot of lessons there, as far as appreciation for life in general, and if you don't appreciate life, then it can be taken away from you, and there's a lot to do with the system that kind of fucks you, but at the same time, I was a thief,
It's not like I was innocent. I was 100% guilty. And deserved to be in there, no doubt. And if I hadn't gone, who knows if I would have changed my ways. So it's a good thing. It's like the wife says, it's one of those rare cases where the system worked. And I think that was more to do with me than the system, and it's also to do with just random chance. The system is built to keep you in, so I guess that's a whole other podcast. But since I haven't told a TED story in a while, I was thinking about it. So what the hell? Ted. So my friend Ted, if you guys don't remember, this guy I grew up with, a little bit messed up, actually a lot. So I don't, that's not his real name. And like I said, I copied the lyrics of an AC/DC song where they say we've changed the names of the guilty, And so that's what I'm doing. I'm changing the name of a guilty, not an innocent. So anyway, this guy was my doofus friend that made a lot of mistakes and continued to do so. But he's, I think at his core he has a good heart, and I think that he could be a good person if he figures it out. But at the same time, like I said, once you get caught in the system, they don't really want to let you out. So anyhow, let's tell a TED story. So I think I told you guys that I worked at this place called the Bin Trap Club, and I worked there from I was like 9 years old till I was 12, like every weekend in the summers and stuff, and every weekend all throughout the year, but also throughout the summer. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say. And a trap club is where they shoot those clay pigeons. So shotgun shooting clay pigeons, which are little discs made of hardened clay. So clay pigeon. And anywho, so I got Ted a job there with me because he was like, "Hey man, fucking, I want to make some money too." And we'd work together on farms as well. And well, that sounds different when I get on different sides of the mic. Do 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 do. Anywho. So we were, I got him a job there, and he was like, "Yeah, cool, I want to be a trap boy." I'm like, "All right, fine, let's do it." So I got him a job, and so he was working with me setting trap. So that's where you're in the box, in the hole in the ground, concrete thing around you, perimeter with a sheet metal lid, and, or, whatever, metal lid. And there was a machine in there that rotated and had this arm that slung out the clay pigeons, and when it came back and locked in, you'd put a new one on. That was your job. And you could listen to your headphones and drink sodas and all that shit and just keep putting clay pigeons on the damn thing as soon as it went out. And so anyway, there was also this thing where you, when you were to go to get out, they gave you a red flag, and so you'd kind of reach up and wave the flag above the fucking thing, and then throw it up on top, and then kind of peek outside around the corner and make sure you don't get your head blown off by a shotgun. So that was the job. And now that I think about it, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, so it was a tournament, and so, I realized they'd stop shooting. And I was like, okay, so they're done at my station, and I think they're done. And so I throw my flag up, do the thing, and I peek out. Okay, they're done. And I notice, I'm like, okay, they're done. And my buddy Ted had the trap next to me, which they're not really next to you. They're probably, 50 yards apart, somewhere in there. And so I go over there, and I look over, and I see his machine is still going, and he's still inside there just fucking daydreaming. I don't know. I'm sitting there watching him, thinking he's going to throw the flag up any time. He doesn't, So I'm like, you fucking idiot. So I grab a clay pigeon and I huck it over there. Hits the house. Nothing. So I walk halfway over there and kind of look, and I'm like, "Hey, man." He's like, "Oh." And looks up, I'm like, "You're done." So he just, jumps out, and I'm like, "Dude, okay, first of all, you're supposed to fucking wave your flag. And I know, I'm telling you, I know you can get out, but still, you're supposed to wave the fucking flag, make sure you don't get your head blown off, and then get out. He's like, okay, yeah, and he's always just, yeah, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, you're an idiot. So he starts walking towards me, and I go, hey man, you forgot to turn off your fucking machine. You know, because you're supposed to turn off your machine too before you get out, right? That's another thing that saves you, because if they pull the trigger, that arm won't release, and they also will know, like, hey, something's going on, and they're not going to be shooting. So then Nimrod, like, oh, okay. And so instead of going inside the box, reaching in, hitting the toggle switch and turning it off like you should, he just reaches in from outside, hits the switch. And when he did, the arm automatically released and flings the pigeon out, right? Well, this arm is like probably about 2.5 feet long, and it's metal, and it comes flying out pretty damn fast, and it comes out and just whack, hits him right in the fucking forehead, levels him, boom, falls flat on his back. So I'm like, oh fuck. But I'm also laughing because he's always doing stupid shit. So I'm like, yeah. So I kind of run over there laughing like I'm like, come on, man, really? What the fuck, dude? And he's holding his head and he's like, oh my God, you know, and I'm making fun of him because I'm like, how dumb can you be? And so then he pulls his hand away from his forehead, and blood just gushes down his fucking face and on his shirt, and he starts panicking, like, oh, because he always panics, and he starts fucking running around. So I grab him and wrap his head, and he's still fucking freaking out and flailing, and I'm like, just calm the fuck down. I get his shirt off of him and make a fucking like tourniquet around his forehead, stop the bleeding, because he's got a big old gash across his forehead. So ruin his Aussie shirt, tying it around his head, and this fucking idiot around Ted's head. And so anyway, you know, by that point, some adults had saw us, and fucking panic, and sets in, and everyone's trying to help, and you know, he eventually gets carted off, and they take him to the hospital, and I'm just like, fucking Ted, you know. And but yeah, he got, like, I don't know how many stitches he got, like 15, 16 stitches, I can't remember, across his forehead. I was just like, wow, dude. Yeah, not the smartest individual. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you guys a Ted story. And now I will read how about I'll read another Ron Clausen poem. Actually, I'll read a couple. I just figured I'd just go through the book, and the next poem is not his, but the next one is. So should I read the ones that aren't his? Since you guys aren't here, I have no one to tell me yes or no. Let the marijuana speak. How about I just read them all, because if he found an interest in them, maybe then you would too. So this next poem is not by Ron. Here we go. Each moment of the year has its own beauty and its own same field. It beholds every hour a picture which has never been seen before, and which shall never be seen again. And that's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. All right. The next one is by Ron. So let's do this one. Bright and blue, the sky inspires, frees the mind. Ah, that I were a spider upon a silken thread, a rider. All right. Maybe those are two different poems, I'm not sure. Ooh, this next one, I'll stop with this one. It says, Ladies is the title. My, what rustic beauty as the cow chaws its food. Her Levine Saliva enhances the mood. What the fuck? Alright. Now, gum-smacking females chew like the cow, but their beauty equals that of a sow. Wow. Maybe, I don't know, he didn't, oh, he did sign that one. Yikes. Yeah, I don't think comparing a lady to a cow is going to get you too far. Unless your goal is to jack off for the rest of your life, well, you accomplished that, and probably not getting invited to any feminist parties anytime soon. But hey, you know, to each their own. So, not to ruin Mindy's dad like that. I mean, you know, hey, I was just talking about how I was in jail, so I think he's still a better person than me, so I think we're good. Anywho, let's see here. I'm gonna, oh man, that computer went blank. I've been talking so long. They both went blank. Should I play that playlist again? Why not, right? What the hell? How do I do it? My computer's all freaking out. Let's see. So yeah. So Andy, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Val is going to talk to me tomorrow as well, I understand. And something, you know, I was thinking about with Andy, like I said, I'll do that. You know, if you want to do a podcast, you know, tomorrow night or whenever, you know, one of these nights, just stay up late. I'll put the phone on the microphone and we'll have a conversation, man. We'll talk about whatever. You can interview me if you feel like it. And then, yeah, I mean, like I said, I still haven't changed that fucking pipe. I know, I'm a lagger. But I think Val wants to come and have an interview. And that's the funny thing is like I've thought about having her, you know, I've thought about all my friends, honestly. I think everyone has an amazing story, and there's a reason why I'm friends with you, you know? It's like, why would I be friends with a boring-ass person, you know? And so I do believe everyone I know has something to say and something to offer and a lot of wisdom. And, you know, Val wrote me some really cool stuff recently through text, and I was reading it, and, you know, of course it made me cry, and just beautiful words and a great friend. And so I figured maybe, you know, if she wants to come down to my crusty old basement and have a conversation about whatever, I'm ready. And to Sarah, you know, sorry, you know, I just want to get it to where it's like, it's not, you know, like I said, the door thing, so I just need to do it. So anyhow, I figure Andy, and that's, I was going to update you guys too on Skylar. I don't know if she's going to come back or he, excuse me, is going to come back and do an interview, because I'm not sure where he's at with it, and I'm not sure if he is going by he anymore either, so so yeah, I don't know, we'll see. And then as far as Skylar's friend that was going to do the show, I'm not sure if they still want to. I offered recently, and they said yes at first, and then it was just a bad timing kind of thing, so maybe it's just bad timing. So anyhow, as always, thank you all for listening. I truly appreciate it. This dad journey thing was a little, obviously I didn't know everything to expect, but it's just a lot different than what I thought. And so yeah, so I'll let you guys in on whatever I feel as I know it, and yeah, we'll go from there. And maybe if you got some advice from me, you can go ahead and send it my way, 541-241-8866. And if you want to hit up the Burns hotline, it's 541-241-6598. But like I said, for BC and DC, 541-241-8866. And you can call or text. And, you know, like I said before, whatever you want to put out there, I'm cool with it. So anyhow, yeah, I don't know. I guess I can close the show like I always do, talking about mental health, and say, you know, if you got friends out there that are suicidal, please check in on them. you got someone that's down and depressed that you know and love or care about, just check in on them. Give them a phone call, give them a text. And if you can go by their house, go by their house. But yeah, do that. And yeah, as far as the rest of us, if you're not seeking out a therapist, at least just be honest with your bullshit. You know, that's the stuff I try to do, and I'm decent at being my own therapist, but I know I'm not the best at it, and I know I can't do it all on my own. But having you guys, having my friends, having this podcast, it's a lot. Having these new family members that are accepting of me, at least one so far, my aunt, and yeah. So anyhow, I can't say I'm feeling better, but I'm just I don't know, man. I really don't. I can't pinpoint how I'm feeling exactly. But anyway, I'll go ahead and let you guys go. And you know, like I said, thanks for listening. And I am recording again on video tonight, but I still haven't put any of those other ones out. And who knows when I will? Fuck, man. I'll get around to it at some point, maybe. We'll see. Anyway. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a good night. And as always, thanks for listening. And, you know, take care of yourself and each other. Y'all deserve it. All right. Love you. Yep. That's love right there.